Hey Jossie, I'm trying to put together a little tutorial because when I was working on these, when I did them the normal way, they ended up with these little ridges on the edges, and I thought those might be hard for grafting into one piece, and so that's why I did this extra smooth edge. But that causes a little bit of extra steps when doing the actual knitting. So I'm gonna do a little demo of that knitting, so hopefully it's not too overwhelming. All right, I'm gonna switch this. Okay, so I'm starting here with I'm about to start a new section. I wanted to show you just with two kind of already done so you can just see how it picks up from here. So the first stitch, you're just kind of grabbing from the line below, which will become clear in a second. I'm just gonna knit all the way to the end on that first row. So every single stitch is replaced. And then we'll, from there, so for that very first one, you want even that center stitch to be replaced. So it's like we have 0 left on the left needle when we wrap and turn. So then that very first stitch you always pick up without knitting it. And then the next stitch in, I'm gonna knit, and I'll just knit all the way across. Thankfully, there's really no purling required in this, and that makes it go much faster and better. Once you get to the second to the last one, here's where on this pattern normally you would just knit that last stitch, but in this case, because we want that smooth edge, I'm just gonna pull the yarn forward and just slip that last stitch just onto the needle, and then the yarn's already ready for me on the next row, but I've just slipped that first stitch. Now I'm gonna knit that first stitch so that it just gives me that smooth edge instead of that turn bump that you get with garter stitch sometimes. All right, and then I'm just gonna knit until there's one left. And so I'm just knitting across. I'll try to get my thumb out of the way here a little bit more so it's a little more visible, hopefully. And once I have one left, then I am going to pull the yarn forward. And in this case, I'm just leaving that first stitch on the needle and just picking up that second one without knitting it. And now I'm gonna knit my way across. All right, I knit all the way back to the nearly to the end. It would be faster if we did it the other way where you just knit right off the whole end of the needle. But once again, I'm just, instead of knitting that last one, I'm just gonna slip it with the yarn in front. All right, then I'm gonna go to the next one. And this is why you can see it doesn't take, I feel like these will go fast because it doesn't take a whole long time to do a single section once you kind of get the rhythm down. All right, I'm gonna leave 2 on this time. I really won't, it does go fast for each row, so that will be, so I'm leaving 2 on, I pull my yarn forward, I slip that first stitch, and back I go. So next time I'll leave 3 on. Now sometimes I lose track of where I am, and you kind of can tell pretty quickly. So if that happens, you can always pull back out and do that part again. But what I do sometimes is I look, I can tell, you and I know we have 3 left, but you can also see that they're kind of purl bumps all the way across. These purl bumps stop right there. So that tells me that's that third stitch. I'm not gonna knit that one that doesn't have a purl bump. That's my indicator. So I'm just gonna knit this first one and knit all the purl bumps, essentially, so that I have 3 left. That's my last purl bump, and there happen to be 3 left. So once you start kind of looking for those purl bumps, that helps you keep track a little bit easier. Once again, I'm just gonna slip that first stitch, not knit it, and go to the end, and to the second to last, and just slip that last stitch. I don't know, but I think I need to rewind these balls because they really annoy me. I tried and I couldn't pull the yarn out from the middle of them, so I think I have to get my ball winder out, which is never a bad thing, and just rewind it. That'll be really good. So now I have 4 left, and I'm just gonna look at the purl bumps, and that's what they indicate too. But so sometimes I just kind of go along until I see that I'm knitting the last purl, and then call it good, switch. And then this section obviously goes really fast because each row is so short, but getting shorter and shorter. And last one, I just slip and then knit across. Sorry, I know this is a little long, but hopefully it's helpful. And I can kind of tell that's my last purl bump. Now there'll be 5 left. I just kind of want to show you the end too, because it's just kind of a little bit weird, but not bad. Nothing hard, just something to pay attention to maybe. All right. Oh, darn ball. All right. Knit. This time till there's 6 left, I think we're on. But in a way, at this point, I stopped counting because I'm just reading purl bumps at this point. And then all right, I'm getting down to 3 left to really knit, 3 purl bumps really. So just when I get here, again, I just follow the same pattern. Nothing really changes, it just gets to be a little bit odd. Now there's gonna be 2. Whoop. Okay, and once you've got 2, you still slip 1 and knit that last bump and then slip that last stitch. And then this is my last row because there's only 1 purl bump left. I'm gonna knit my edge stitch, knit that purl bump, rotate it around, slip it because it's really the first row, and then I'm just bringing the yarn forward because now I'm just gonna slip that end stitch. And really this is where I started this video, is that I had just done that on this section and now I'm another section in. So hope that's helpful.